Ah, hello and welcome to the Nice Gathering podcast. Yes, I said that hesitantly because I'm still figuring out the name. But sure, let's try out the Night Gathering podcast. And today I have my two friends. Sure, let's go with friends. Let's go with friends. So we have Jaxiam.
Hey everybody, glad you can make it to this little outing. I'm Jaxiam, the Keeper of Knowledge, and welcome to, like he said, the Knights Gathering podcast. Name is, well, we're testing it out.
Yeah, we're
I hope you
testing
can
it.
sit around, the campfire with us and be here for a little while.
Yeah, just sit down and relax and hear the flames. Also,
Mhm.
we have Axero.
Hey everybody, I'm Axero the Dreamer, or as you probably know me better by, the Digimon Emperor or your sassy grandma. Yeah, we're kind of just chilling over here by the fireside, and hopefully we're just gonna have a fun time.
And you already know me. I am Hexus, the man with many names, or you can call me Gabriel. Probably gonna be called Gabriel here. I don't know. I'm still. Anyways, welcome to the podcast. We're here to talk about whatever theme we're thinking of around this time, and hopefully it doesn't turn into utter chaos and arguments. Hopefully.
It's definitely gonna be chaos, but that's fine.
We make absolutely no promises.
Yeah. Anyways, I had a very interesting subject today because why the fuck not? Make it more interesting. I wanted to talk about live action movies because hey, that is the mainstream
no.
right now. They're
Oh,
so,
oh, this
you know,
topic.
Hey,
Oh
don't
why
man.
not? Hey man, listen, like we have to start it out somehow. So why not make it the most annoying piece of media that we currently have right now?
Little bit of warning. We here at the Unlucky Crusaders do not advocate for any violent actions against others based on their opinions. We will, however, retaliate at each other. In all fun.
Well, you're wrong.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
our opinions are
Yeah.
our opinions. Your opinions are your opinions. And please, if your opinions and ours do not match, hey, it's all in good fun. All right?
You're wrong. No, I'm joking. Maybe.
No, but we can take a joke or two, so it's fine if your opinion is wrong. I mean, different than ours.
Great.
Exactly.
I'm the impartial one. Fuck.
I mean, hey, listen. If you guys want to, want to comment if we're wrong or not, we'll see it. Anyways, let us start. No, I'm joking. We'll support maybe.
Yeah. Dating this a little though, with that topic, I guess we should talk about the most recent live action.
Which one? Because
Which
there's two.
one? There's two. There's two.
I'm sure we've seen, or at least I've seen, one of the most recent Lilo and Stitch live action. I have not seen the How to Train Your Dragon live action movie.
It's so
I think
good.
Axero is the only one here who's seen it.
It's so
Was it
good.
good?
So
Huh.
they are a contrast due to how the media sees them. I grew up watching a lot of these movies, so they are very dear to my heart. I will always say when watching a live action, it's fine because it's just a live action. It's not going to be as good as the original, which is almost always true. So start us off, Axero. Tell us a little bit about the How to Train Your Dragon live action.
Okay.
Like in comparison to the cartoon.
Compared to like the original DreamWorks movie, and this is not going into like the books or anything like that. I've never read the books. It holds.
Have you seen the series?
Yes, I've seen some of the series. And to be fair, I don't like the last one that they did with the, in the future and stuff. Regardless of that,
We don't talk about that one. Nope.
Yeah,
We're good
exactly.
with that.
regardless of that, the live action holds its ground by itself. If you were to tell me that How to Train Your Dragon was made now instead of like the original, like the animation one, I would still be like, oh wait, what, seriously? Like they're the same movie but they're not the same movie, and they both hold each other to a high degree. What I'm trying to say is the live action is so fucking good. And the story is
Hey,
still
that's actually
technically,
really good.
yeah, the story's still technically the same. I'm not gonna go into spoilers here. Yeah, sure, the cast, they're not gonna be one to one. You know, humans, like actual IRL humans, are never gonna look alike to what a cartoon character is. Sure, there's prosthetics, there's makeup and all that stuff, there's CGI. And
Cap as well.
yeah, and mind you, the CGI in this movie, what the fuck? Like Disney, no offense, come on, you need to step up your game.
Okay. I want to say something real quick about the casting. Again, I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm planning to see it pretty soon. Originally, I was going on Wednesday, but I was like super dead tired. But when I saw the casting for the movie, I I was okay with it. There was like a few that I didn't agree with, and it kind of pissed me off for one reason. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but in Universal Studios, I have seen clips of like actors, because there's always like actors playing the characters on like Disney and stuff like that. And when I saw the cast for Universal, I was like, why weren't these guys the cast for the movie? They look almost, no, I'm sorry, like almost completely the same as the like characters from the movie. And their acting is pretty good. So why weren't they like the cast for the movie?
I think location and timing is the problem with that stuff. So when it comes to hiring actors for theme parks, a lot the gate of entry is a lot wider, and it's a lot more open to lesser actors, lesser known names, and complete nobodies. And sometimes they'll find characters based on if they look alike, not just if they can act perfectly and if they can emulate the character. For movies, they do something similar, especially live actions, but the problem is they focus more on, is this actor close by? Is this actor easy to pay? And do we currently see him being the air quote? Usually it's the director's choice, and some of the producers. They had like, okay, we see this person playing the character. So you have to remember that when they were casting for the How to Train Your Dragon movie, we knew about it for a couple of years. It wasn't like, night and day. So they probably had the casting crew way before they had the Universal picks. And by the time they already had the Universal picks, the movie had already been like filmed, it had been acted. So yes, they found really good, I would say streetwise actors, and all actors should be, well known, and they should be well represented. But a lot of Hollywood and a lot of media don't usually give them the justice they deserve. So while you're right with the Universal actors being almost one to one, they had already done the movie. That's the whole reason they did the park publication, because they were promoting the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it would
It's
be
kind
the
of sad
same.
to see that.
Yeah, it is. It would even be the same thing with like how in the Disney parks you have all these employees who take on the roles of the princesses or the princess and all these Disney characters, and you can see that some of them are actually really good at what they're doing, not just because it's part of their
Like,
job, but it is a little bit sad.
a lot of
And,
them genuinely enjoy it, actually, as well.
but
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but
yeah, that's fine. I was gonna say that
uh,
go ahead.
I just want to make one little note, and then you can go on with your thing. Gaston, from Disney's park, after the live action actor that did that, is a good example of someone who is enjoying what they're doing and they're doing a great job of portraying the character. But that's all I wanted to say. Go ahead with your thing.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is like, do remember, sure, these people might have done some acting and stuff, and it always goes back to, I guess, like their portfolio and what they've done in acting, or like their degree of acting as well. At least that's my opinion, and what I think it could be as well.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
So I wish we could like give more into this How to Train Your Dragon live action. But again, two of us haven't seen it, and we're just going based off of Xero's opinion.
Yeah, and that's
And I do trust my brother's thoughts on it. I will see it eventually too.
and besides,
But
best character,
just,
best
like-
character is always gonna be Toothless, so it's fine.
I'm curious about that, right? So comparisons, right? I know it's been probably a while since you saw the cartoon one. Comparisons, like, are there, without big spoilers, do you think they did big changes that kind of changed the narrative or some of the meanings of the movie? Because that's kind of what happened with the latest Lilo and Stitch movie and the internet's controversy with it, which we'll get into soon.
It's been a couple months since I've seen the How to Train Your Dragons movies, like the original ones, because I have an issue and I have to see them at least once a year. But most of the scenes were pretty in tune with the original one. There were a few of them. I'm not too sure if they were in the original one or not, but they were added, I believe, and they still kept in check to what the lore of the How to Train Your Dragon world is. Even if you're not really going into like, oh, what the dragons are and stuff, the interactions between the humans themselves, like the Vikings, it brings you the bigger picture of what they're facing in that world. So I think it honestly didn't take it did not take anything away from it.
That's actually good to hear. You just reminded me of something that I saw. YouTube Shorts, they sometimes show stuff. There is a change in the movie that a lot of people think is for the better. Astrid in the live action did get a change where she's not actually from Berg. She is from outside of Berg.
Yes.
Which makes sense because her name is different. Usually the people, the way they choose people's names in Birch or Bird. But the point is the names are usually derogatory or like funny sounding because they're from there. But Astrid is like a normal name. It's not like an insult. It's not like a description. It's just a pretty sounding name. So it kind of delves into a part of the character that wasn't ever in the original, and it kind of adds depth to her as a character from what I've heard.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to.
Did not know about that.
Yeah, there is a scene where, and a little bit of, I'll just say quick spoiler, there is a gathering of the Viking leaders. And yes, I said leaders, as in there is more than one tribe. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, they kind of introduced that in the.
That's more in the show than it is in the movie. So
in the movies they showed them, but I don't remember. It was on the third movie that they clarify it. In the second movie, we just saw. I think it was Draco's army.
Yeah, I feel like
it was Draco.
With the movie having so much lore to take from, like the series, the books, the movies, they have a lot of leeway to expand on what's already there, which is what I think they did, to my understanding.
Exactly. Yeah. But I encourage anyone who hasn't seen it, go see it. It is one of the better iterations on an animated movie that has come out in quite a few years.
People, like, I have seen people telling me that it was a good movie. I thought it was like like people being blinded by media, like, oh yeah, the people say it's good, so it has to be good.
I
But
I
because unlike How to Train Your Dragon, I have heard a lot of criticism for the Stitch movie, and I wasn't gonna watch that one.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
a
So
lot of it comes
did you ever
from.
see it? Um, the live action Hexus.
the live action, no. The only live action Stitch that I ever seen was like plushies that
Got
I
it.
see when I'm
So
walking around.
the controversies with that movie are very simple. It's pretty widespread at this point. Um, they don't like how the movie's ending and the direction it took and the scenes that were cut. So I enjoyed the movie. I want to start off with that without saying anything else, like any spoilers or anything. I enjoyed the Lilo live action movie, fully knowing that it will never replace the original. And by enjoyed, I mean like in a 1 to 10 rating, I would give it a solid 6, which is it's enjoyable enough, but it's not a movie that will change my life. It's an okay movie. The
Okay,
problem
okay.
the problem is the Disney is a huge empire at this point. So people obviously expect them to go big budget on a lot of things. And they do on a lot of visual effects, a lot of advertising, which is where a lot of the budget I've seen a lot of advertising for the movie. The best thing in the movie is still Stitch. In the original, best thing was, Stitch, but there were other characters like Jumba, Lilo herself is really well loved. Nani is very loved in the original, and it did not cut
Um,
corners in showing that she was trying to be a parent while still being young. The new one, I think it still shows Nani's want to be there for Lilo, but it also shows a different direction in how modern
I'll
culture and like modern media.
I think I'll say how it is. It actually humanizes the character, ironically.
Yeah, so with the times, a lot of things change. So the biggest change, big spoilers, is Nani wanting to study. Because in the original, she wanted to be a surfer, but she had to give up her dream to take care of her family. Back then, the culture was you sometimes have to sacrifice what you love to take care of your family. Nowadays, the culture is you should focus on yourself so that you can later help your family. Make yourself happy so that you can help your family be happy. And that is the biggest shift in this movie. So, at the end of the movie, again, I said spoilers, so spoilers twice. Um, Nani, despite all her efforts, is forced, not really willingly, told, hey, you've messed up big time. We noticed that you're struggling financially to even take care of yourself. So you will lose Lilo. Not because she's giving her up. A lot of people straight jumped the gun and were like, oh, she's giving her up. No, it's because she didn't have a choice. And throughout the movie, it's always shown how the meaning of Ohana, Ohana means family. It's shown that Ohana doesn't just mean family that are currently present. It also means family that will always stick together no matter how far they are. Nani in this scene at the end of the movie is hesitant to let Lilo go, even if everything happened, and even if she doesn't have a choice in the matter anymore. It's actually Lilo, the Lilo's actress in this scene that tells her, "Hey, I notice your dream is to go study marine biology. I want you to fulfill your dream, and you can still visit. We can talk to each other on the phone. It's not the same as having someone in person, especially, we've all seen how different it is, like distant relationships, especially when, stuff like COVID hit. But it shows that she's not abandoning her sister. She is pursuing her studies. And for the people who are, upset about it, they're like, oh, she abandoned Lilo. Lilo moves in next door And Nani, when she finishes studying or whenever she goes on break, she'll come back home to literally her next door neighbor still being her sister. And there's a very important plot device used in the movie, a portal gun that wasn't in the original, and Nani keeps it. So she literally, at any moment, any day and time, it's shown in the end credit scene, she can portal to her sister. So I struggle to see her abandoning her sister when she's still studying. She can visit at any moment, and she still like has that sisterly bond. They do have different moments in the live action movie where it's not as easily shown as it is in the animation, the original movie, how the emotion of Nani being a parent figure. But that's where they kind of like split Nani's character in two. They split her between the sister and the parent figure because they added some new characters that I do agree with most people wasn't necessary. Like the neighbor character basically takes the role of Nani's parent side, and she keeps Lilo. But Nani doesn't abandon her family. She just goes to study. That is a point that a lot of people don't say. They're always like, oh no, she abandoned. Ohana doesn't mean anything. No, Ohana is still applicable. It's just they are just a little bit far. Like it's like if
it's like basically saying like, oh, Ohana doesn't mean that you have to be around your family all the time, but
Exactly.
what matters is that they're there, and I understand that. It's just that, I understand your part. I understand that completely. It's valid. It's just that compared to the animated movie, it still doesn't make it like it doesn't give it justice because
it doesn't make it
Well, do
better.
remember.
That's why I still say the movie is okay.
Yeah, well, do remember, like, again, it's been 23 years between the original one and this one. It's been literally 2 decades, and times have changed a lot. And I was just wondering while Jaxiam was talking on how much of what was used in this newer version was actually part of the original one. Because I don't know if this is true or not, but I read a while ago, like some part of the internet or saw it in a video where there were claims that the people who made the original Lilo and Stitch did not want to, show it to Disney simply because there was a possibility that they were going to shoot it down. So now I'm wondering if that claim is true, how much of that original draft has been put into this new movie, if any at all.
I don't think they did, because some of the actors have confirmed that they changed a lot of things, and it was mostly because of the budget. For example, Gandu not being the fucking movie.
Yeah,
How
so
dare they? I'm still fucking mad about that.
That
Yeah,
is
they
true.
showed
That is-
Jumba. Like, okay, like I haven't seen the movie, but they told me that they removed Jumba's accent. I was like, that was like his whole fucking thing.
So-
and then Brinkley doesn't cross dress as much. They just have like a device that can just turn them into humans. I was like, oh, that's fucking weak. And also Jumba being the bad guy, he always was a bad guy, but the thing is, he wasn't a monster. For what people were telling me, he is like a monster in this movie. Like, he doesn't care about anything.
So I'm sorry that I'm the one mostly rambling here, but to add to that, I do agree. Gantu should have never been removed, and there's a lot of character changes that were not necessary. Budget-wise, I do understand why they did the. Oh, we just press this button and we look 100% like humans. Perfect disguise, no cross-dressing, no nothing. It was mostly, if I'm not wrong, a director choice, which is sad. It was the director's choice to mostly do some of these changes. And Jumba, like he said, like Hexus here said, was always bad. Even in the original movie, by the end of it, he's not good, but he is willing to just hear out Stitch and help out his creation. Um, I will say why Jumba's doesn't have an accent, and it's a little disappointing for me. A lot of popular movies nowadays, whether they're live action or animated, want to hire big name actors
I
to
agree with
play
that.
specific
Yeah.
characters. And it's not necessary. There are plenty of no name actors or actors that are already good at voice acting who can play these roles. Original Jumba. I had to look him up, right? So David Ogden with the original Jumba Russian accent, because that's what Jumba had. Jumba had a accent. He had a Russian accent to fit his big burly body. It was perfect. He was a villain, but even when he was being a villain, because of the accent and the way he moved and the animation, he was almost like a goofy type of villain where you can kind of laugh at him while still understanding, oh, he's still like a villain, but you can also like see the endearing parts, like he's a humanized villain where he's like the first movie emphasizes Jumba is a mad scientist. He's not out to destroy the world. He's just a mad scientist. He just wants to make his creations. Here, it's more of they took the mad aspect and they kind of cranked it up to 11. So he's willing to kill. He doesn't care about any rules. And he only kind of puts up with it. But I feel like any other actor would have done this job great. And if they wanted someone with an accent, they should have gone with it because the actor they got, I do enjoy his movies. It's Zach Galifianakis, I think it's his name. I'm double checking. Yeah, he is the actor from the Hungover movies. The guy that used to be fat. He's not as fat
Yeah.
anymore. He can be a funny actor, but he's way toned down in this movie, and you can definitely see that he is like a very censored version of himself because he can't, a lot of his comedy comes from swearing and adult humor. And in
Yeah,
a
exactly.
Lilo and Stitch children movie, he doesn't shine as he does in those movies or other movie and media that he's done. Like he's done like comedy interviews with Obama and other celebrities where his insults are coming back and forth, roasts and stuff, and he shines there because that's the type of comedy that he is good at.
Little girl, you stupid and pathetic. Give me dog.
But he never does an accent. He is not a voice actor. He is an actor. And he's great at acting, but I don't think the role of Jumba was perfect for him. I think they just wanted an actor that was well known to promote the movies. And while that can work with some movies nowadays you can promote with the actors, like Sinners, for example. One of the more recent movies has a bunch of well-named actors, and it did really well. And a lot of the promotion for that movie came from how the actors are and the type of actors. But nowadays, you don't need a big name actor to promote a movie. Sometimes movies sell themselves. The Lilo and Stitch movie, most of the promotion wasn't even him. Most of the promotion was the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Stitch.
It was just Stitch. He goes like,
Yeah,
oh,
the weird blue dog.
oh,
And Stitch is still the same voice actor, which is a perfect representation of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same voice actor, same mannerisms, because he was one of the original creators of the first movie. He wasn't just an actor that they got; they needed someone to voice Stitch, and he tried that voice, which is just a joke, mocking voice that he did sometimes. And they're like, "Yeah, no, there's no one quite like you. You're gonna be Stitch," and he's kept the role all these years. And he's perfect. He does his little cute moments. He does his like gremlin energy, which is essentially what Stitch is. He's like big, misbehaving gremlin, and it's shown in the movie really well. That's honestly some of the best scenes in the movie are still Stitch. but they did take out some very important moments for other unnecessary scenes that
Yeah,
could be
like the
cut.
scene of him grabbing a car and whacking Jumba across the fucking house. Or or him having a chainsaw and fucking trying to rip him apart.
Yeah, so
Or the
a,
giant spaceship fight.
a lot of scenes were either replaced for budget reasons, which I understand, but I think a lot of people were expecting, with Disney being the massive giant that it is, for them not to cut corners with one of their big titles, but they do cut corners pretty often. And because of that, the budget isn't as big as people hope, and it doesn't get the movies one to one as they could. One scene that was cut from the movie, and I am still saying it's an okay movie, was the ugly duckling scene. That scene is
Yeah.
my one of my favorite scenes from the original movie, where Stitch tries to find,
Yeah,
he
like
recreates the ugly duckling
himself.
book. Yeah, and it
Exactly.
shows how he's, becoming more humanized, showing that he has emotions and feelings. And it was instead replaced for scenes like,
With the frogs.
uh, no, yeah, the frog was already there, but I'm saying in the live action, a scene that was extended for no reason. Um, the buoyancy when Stitch first escapes at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
In the original, they show that when Stitch takes off and he goes to Earth, at first they're relieved. Oh, he's gonna land in water. It's like, why does that matter? Why is that important? Oh, his molecules aren't perfect for that. And in the original, it leaves it at that, right? I'm not quoting the movie perfectly, but the point is they extend this scene, and some of the aliens that they show are confused. It's like, why does that matter? And they extend it to the director over explaining, oh, it means he can't swim because he's too heavy. We did not need that explanation. That
Yeah.
explanation is not needed because the scene of him sinking to the bottom and almost drowning still happens. So if you're gonna keep the scene where he goes to the bottom happen, we don't need
Just show
the
it.
over
Yeah,
explanation.
You don't have to
tell.
explain it. Exactly. That's the problem that I have with fucking Disney, because every time they do a movie and they do changes, it always has to be like super unnecessary because of the budget. But this is what pissed me off about Disney. If you're gonna stop making animation because it quote unquote costs a little bit more, don't fucking sacrifice story quality to make it like prettier for the viewers. Like,
Exactly.
no, people just want the story. Because I like, this is my thing with Disney. You're probably one of the richest like companies in the world, but you still limit yourself because you don't want to spend a lot of money. Like, all the movies currently they have been dropping have been live action movies, and there's absolutely no reason for them. Listen, if you want to recreate the story, fine, you can recreate the story, but if you want to make it like low budget to try and earn more money, just do the princess movies. That's all you have to do. I mean, people are still not gonna watch them because, your last princess movie, it didn't go so well for obvious reasons. But when it comes to movies like Stitch, don't fucking touch that.
It's gonna be obvious that a lot of people are gonna come for the nostalgia. A lot of Disney children are now parents, and they're gonna watch that with their kids because they're like, yeah, we're adults now, but we have kids and we want to introduce them to this that brought us joy. So they're still gonna make a lot of money, and there is no need to cut corners, is what Gabriel is trying to say here.
Yeah,
because
and
there's no point.
yeah, and speaking of cutting corners, I just looked up how long the movie is. The original movie is an hour and 25 minutes. The new one is an hour and 48 minutes. And one thing that I noticed while sitting in the theaters, is how sped up some scenes felt and how out of place there were. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like how Jaxiam said earlier, there are key scenes that were taken out for no reason, for other scenes that honestly, why are they even there? And it's a live action. Why not just, if it's going to be a longer runtime, go ahead and include the scenes that, you know, touched us in the original one or made us feel certain things about Stitch and his journey of discovering himself as not a monster or anything along those lines. Like, come on, seriously?
Like, for example, I listen. I'm gonna make a big leap from How to Train Your Dragon to Stitch. I'll tell you a great way to make live action movies, and I think a lot of people can agree with me. I mean, at least most of the people. When it comes to live action, I believe the best way to either make live actions is two ways. One of them is, you know, the hyper realistic route that is pretty boring because we see it all the time. And then I guess the fantasy way is probably having an already outside source. Like, for example, Fallout. That is the last live action thing I have ever seen, at least for what I remember. And the reason why at least Fallout works is because with Fallout, there's no main character. The only main character is the Dweller. And anyone can play the Dweller because it's just a custom character. And the good thing also about the Fallout series, there's 3 stories, and technically a player can play one of the 3 stories. You got the newbie that is like luck based and doesn't know what's going on, so he just does everything like, you know, to fuck around and find out. Then there's the objective player just trying to go to the objective and do it as quickly as possible. And then there's the fucking badass that is the ghoul, like the experienced player. He already knows what to do. And that's why I believe when it comes to live action, it works better like that. Just have different characters be their own main character.
Not only that,
Yeah.
but the Fallout show does something very well in having not one but 2 characters who, one knows the world but doesn't know the true extent of it because they've been taught in like, oh, the only truth is the Brotherhood, we're the good guys, we need to collect this old tech. Well, he doesn't know the real world because he's been like in a facility training. And then we have the Dweller, right? She was secluded most of her life. So we have the payoff of having 2 characters who we can experience the story through, and they can explain details of the world through those 2 characters. But we also have the ghoul, who is like for the players of any Fallout game or that already know the lore. And in the ghoul scenes, there's not a lot of talking. There's not a lot of explanation of back and forth, like, hey, I'm a ghoul. Ghouls live this long. No, we don't see that because it's not necessary, because the character already knows this stuff. But if, you know, the Dweller is like, oh, like, you're different, it's very, very well shown how the character that doesn't know anything learns throughout their journey and grows into a more experienced character. Like, I forget the main character's name in the Fallout show. At least I think it was Lucy.
Girl.
It is Lucy.
Girl.
I'm double checking, but
it is Lucy. No, go ahead.
You got the 3 main characters: girls, Finn, and Ghoul.
Oh yes, no, you mean traitor. You mean traitor.
Traitor, yeah. I mean, ironically, he technically plays a traitor. So,
yeah. But by the end of the story, Lucy already knows the world. She's actually playing like how a lot of people play the game, and it's because the actress and a lot of the actors, that's how they played. the actress for Lucy actually played Fallout 4. I think she played Fallout 4, and she played it just like how she would play herself. And that's how she acted. She acted how she was during her first playthrough. So it was pretty one-to-one of her like growing from someone who doesn't know anything to someone who's experienced enough to take on the world and actually survive in what the desolate world of Fallout is. Because Fallout is not a place where anyone can survive.
To bring to that point, there is the notion of knowing the source material versus you're just getting thrown in there and doing whatever the fuck you want and whatever you think it's right for this new iteration. Fine, you do whatever you want. However, there is a basis of at least knowing like the most basic of things about the source material, because if not, you're gonna end up with nonsense that people don't like, and that's when people just go hating on it and just ranting about it. A good thing is like the Fallout show, like you said, where the actress of Lucy played the games, but the actress for Walter the Ghoul did not. However, because of his experience as an actor, he still brought his A game to the Fallout universe.
And mind you, it's not just on the actors; it's also on the directors, producers, knowing the source. And a lot of the creators of the Fallout show actually played the games, actually cared about the lore of the world. But a lot of live action movies, the directors are always, or most of the time, not always, saying, no, we know best because we're the ones directing, or we heard about it. I have a very good comparison of knowing the source material versus not, and I am going even further back, and I have two very different movies. One was beloved, and to this day, it's very much loved by fans. And the other one is despised. Dragon Ball Evolution versus Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna go there because I was about to do the same segue as well.
Dude, oh god, dude, I will tell you right now, oh god, I still remember when I went to watch that in theaters. You do your thing. I'll tell you about my experience.
Yeah. So what I want to say is, when Scott Pilgrim versus the World first came out, yes, there were comic books and they were more in a manga style, but the director and a lot of the cast and crew actually read the source. They actually read the comics. They actually were told, hey, this is what we're basing this on. You should read this because this is going to be big inspiration. And some scenes in the movie were one-to-one with the comics. Obviously, it's a movie versus multiple different comic books, so it has to be cut down. A lot of content gets taken out. So when it comes to Scott Pilgrim, it's always one of those where it's like, read the source because the source material is still really good and has the same type of humor. Mind you, the director for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World already had experience with quick, snappy directing options because
like the cutscenes and all that stuff.
The Dead. He's done other movies where they take scenes and they just do quick action cuts, and it works perfectly for a comic-based movie.
Also,
you have
before you continue, we all agree that Michael Cera just walked into the stage and he was casted on the spot. They're like, yeah, no, he is Scott Pilgrim, right? It's just an inside joke that we have.
So me.
Wait, that's your theory? I thought they like Heaven's Door that shit and made the drawing come to life. Not,
So,
not Heaven's
for
Door.
me-
Man, I forgot the name of the stand, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but essentially, me and Axero have an inside joke that is Michael Cera in a lot of movies is he's playing different characters, but he's almost always doesn't feel like he's acting because a lot of the characters have very basic similarities. So our joke is that Michael Cera doesn't act; he just shows up, and the directors love what he does, so they just let him exist. He literally showed up to set one day, and they're like, "Scott, scene one," and he's like, "Huh?" It's just,
But
and
to
there are
be
a lot
fair-
of scenes in the movie where he seems.
To be fair, we love you, Michael Cera, if you're listening ever. But anyway, keep going. Keep going with your rant.
So, what I'm saying is this, right? Scott Pilgrim versus the World is a great comparison to the source material because the directors and the cast and crew actually knew the source material really well and they wanted to follow it up.
And
With
then,
Dragon Ball Evolution,
yep.
it was a big. Dragon Ball has been an amazing source of media for Latinos, for the world, for many, many, many years, right? The director for the Dragon Ball's Evolution movie was very greedy with what he wanted to do. And I understand wanting to take something big and condense it to a short medium, but it almost feels like I have not done any research on this. It feels like the casting crew did not know the source. They just knew they were making a movie, and they did never like saw the show. They never read anything because the
What are you talking
evolution.
about? The guy clearly saw the movie. Like Grandpa Gohan was there. Goku went to high school, went to parties. That is like the most Goku thing.
Oh god.
And he was like he was also a teenager. He wasn't a kid. He was a teenager, and he was one of these weird ancient like science race. Yeah,
no.
Cyan race. That
So-
when they look at the full moon, they turn into a fucking werewolf. Clearly, that's what happens in the fucking movie.
Everyone
there's
on the internet.
And then there's the Namekians. Yeah, the Namekians. Those are also my favorite fucking race. The demon people. The Namekians.
As you can probably tell, Gabriel here is a big Dragon Ball fan and a big hater of this movie, and I don't blame him. A lot of us are. But what I'm trying to say is this is a very good contrast of knowing the source material and actually trying to implement it in a proper way versus looking up basic details and taking them bit by bit and shoving them all into a movie. For example, like Hexus here said,
Look,
Goku never went to school.
let's say this.
He was a child. There was so many things.
Look, Dragon Ball Evolution is the Western take to Dragon Ball. Sadly, it's not even that. You know what it is?
It didn't have enough guns.
You're a teenager walking to the movie theater, waiting in line to watch this fucking movie. You're sitting in the movie theater, just watching it, being like, oh, wow, it's Goku. And immediately as it starts, it's like, what the fuck am I watching? And you leave the movie theater thinking, I am never recovering from this financially, emotionally. No, I'm sorry. I went into a very dark place. I can't come back. I need a moment.
Sarah, listen. I'll tell you my experience about the movie because it was probably the funniest. So, I don't remember when the movie came out. I know I was pretty young.
It was in 2009.
2009. So
Yes.
I should have been around 9 to 8 years old.
No, you should have been 10.
Around that time, no.
Yes, I don't know.
It was April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it would've
it's
been
even
8.
it's even
Anyway.
worse. That's why I hate it, because it came out near my birthday. Thank you. Keep going.
It was April. It was April 10. I was still 8.
Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
So anyways, so I went to watch this movie because I was excited because around that time, I'm a big Dragon Ball fan. I'm a Dragon Ball fan, but I'm not gonna say as big as I was when I was a kid because I grew up. Anyways, I went to see this movie. I brought my little brother and my mom to see this movie, and of course, my mother doesn't know shit about the movie. I know shit about the movie. So obviously I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the greatest fucking movie ever because this guy fights aliens. He's gonna wreck the shit out of this green guy. And when I start watching the movie, I'm like, oh, it's like the little kid one. And then I'm like, wait, but why is he grown up? Whatever, it's Dragon Ball. I just want to see the cool fucking attacks, the beams, the things that everyone wants to watch. In the movie, they introduce Shishi, and I'm like, I mean, okay. I mean, that's not how they know each other, but cool. And then they introduce Bulma, and I was like, that is not Bulma. And then Jamsha, and I'm like, okay, so Krillin is coming.
What do you mean? That's definitely Bulma with her, motorcycle.
Krillin wasn't even.
She has the motorcycle.
Krillin wasn't even
I
in the
know,
movie.
That's what pissed me off. I was waiting for fucking Krillin, but then when they were like, "Oh, we're gonna see Master Roshi," I'm like, "Yeah, what? Yes, my favorite character because around back then, Roshi was one of my favorites because he's like the goofy old man. I didn't know shit about him being perverted because little kid mind. You don't get to pay attention to that. I just thought he was cool because he has like the muscle form. He's the master of Goku.
I was gonna say, to be fair, Rochi, when he was first introduced in the original series, before the perverted Rochi stuff aside, he shows up in disguise in the tournament and fully like trying to test his students, and it's a really cool scene when he's in disguise and he has to actually take it seriously, and his muscle form is like, oh, he's not just an old man, he is a martial arts master. Yes. He is well respected. He is one of the people on this planet who is one of the only masters, this weird planet that is governed by a dog. Sorry, but yeah.
But basically, when they introduced Roshi, I was so disappointed. And then they do the whole Piccolo thing. I did not like the Piccolo design. I was like, where's the fit? Where's the green fit?
Not to mention, right? And they wanted to introduce Piccolo, but they don't introduce King Piccolo. They introduce Piccolo Jr., which is even more wrong because Piccolo was supposed to be a demon, and he was supposed to look old, and then we get Kid Piccolo later on.
Yeah, it's just that I think the creator didn't research that part, so he just kind of mixed both Piccolos into one, even though they're technically the same person. They're not.
Technically, he's.
Yeah. So, anyways, when they're showing off the fucking like Kamehameha, I'll be honest, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Where the fuck is all you have to do is put your hands together in like a spherical form and you shoot out a fucking laser beam. Why the fuck are you showing fucking fart attacks? And and then they finally show the fight. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Probably Goku is gonna learn that the Kamehameha works better if you put your hands together. I saw that fight. That fight was humiliating. That was fucking god awful. It was fucking doo-doo garbage. And the second they showed the Great Ape, I'm like, oh, please just show me a giant monkey beating the fuck out of Piccolo. They fucking do this fucking bullshit ass thing that they turn him into a tiny fucking monkey. And I was like, I literally told my mom, I want to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to watch this shit anymore. And my mom thought I was scared because of the CGI. She's like, "Oh, honey,
yeah,
it's not
little."
Yeah, and she was like, "So, oh, honey, it's fine. It's not scary. Let's just stay here. I already paid for the tickets." And I'm like, "But mom, I really want to leave." And then she was like, "No, we're gonna stay and watch the movie." And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck did I do?" And then when they finally show Shenron,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
again.
Ah,
But
Okay, I will say there's only one good thing about the movie, and I believe a few people can kind of agree. The Dragon Balls,
they would look
I think that was
good.
the
Yeah.
only good thing about the movie.
they look good.
They
And
look
that's it.
really good.
And
But
here's
I can actually see the Dragon Balls like that.
yeah, here's us saying
But yeah,
no hate to the actors. But
No,
honestly,
I mean, the actors were working with what they had. And
exactly.
honestly, the actor that did Goku, I actually have seen him in other stuff, and he's not that. It wasn't that bad. It's just the direction for that movie, and not to mention that not only did the dragon, well, not only was the dragon disappointing, but the fact that in the movie is like, you get one wish only. That is the wrong. It's just wrong.
It's just wrong. The point is, the movie should have never been made, honestly. But I think
shouldn't have
So-
been made.
yeah,
Yeah, and
it's sad.
there are other examples of disappointing live actions. And talking about this bad one reminded me of another one.
Borderlands? I don't know.
No. I mean, that one's bad, but I haven't seen it. No. So can we talk about Ong and
Oh boy.
Uh,
Oh boy. Okay.
dude,
Here we go. Well,
Dude,
everybody, we apologize for this entire poopy section.
Dude, that was another fucking okay, when I was a kid, I didn't hate it as much as I was when I watched it as an adult. But I was still kind of disappointed because a part of me and I think everyone was waiting for the same scene. We all wanted to see the giant fish avatar state.
yeah, like I'm double checking, right? But if I'm not wrong, the director for that movie was M. Night Shyamalan. I have to double check.
Yes,
Yes,
you're not
yeah,
wrong.
it is.
Shyamalan.
So
It is.
Shyamalan is good at directing suspenseful. I am giving credit where credit is due, right? So he's good at directing suspenseful movies, thriller movies, not action fantasy. Because even though Avatar is not technically fantasy, it is because it's a different world where martial arts translates into elemental control over the elements. Um, the the movie got so many things wrong. I didn't mind the actors because some of them actually had kind of a good similarity with the characters, except for the fact that Sokka was white and and Qatar was white, and they're supposed to be tan because they're Eskimos. But that aside, ethnicity and all that in movies aside, because I still think that you can have a different colored person play the character as long as they can give off the same energy as the character in the original media. If they can act properly like them, it's fine. That's not the problem. The problem is they couldn't even get the pronunciations of names right. How hard is it? Aang, you hear all the time in the show. Why do you add an extra A to it? And why is it in the top of your mouth? I'm not even talking about the animation. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about something as simple as a name.
Yeah, why was there any need to do so if you already have the yes from Nickelodeon? You have a slight yes from the creators. Why are you making these changes? The material is there.
No,
What the fuck?
I think my favorite scene is the fucking bending.
The Rock.
Oh
Rock?
gosh.
No. Don't get me started with the fucking Rock, dude. That was fucking. Oh, dude. Like, I have seen fucking kids make better fucking animation scenes. Like, how the fuck do you ruin that? Like, there's. Okay,
So I
you
wanna
to make
preface this,
earth
right?
bending. It's not that hard.
So
You already had the main source in the fucking ground. All you have to do is add some spikes, add like some movement to the ground. Why the fuck do you have to have like 6 fucking humans struggle to lift a fucking pebble?
for those who have not seen the movie in a long time, or for those who don't remember the scene that we're referencing, there's a scene in the movie that's supposed to be a reference to when Katara first finds the prisoned earthbenders who are on a metal ship, so they can't earthbend. Here in the movie, they are instead in a forest full of earth, no metal. They only have chains on their hands, and it's the only thing they have stopping them from bending. But when they get the motivation to bend, unlike in the show where they had to use, I think it was porridge, because they had like the sediment. It was something like that. It was coal. They managed to use coal and bend it to get out of there. In the movie, they just get a bit of motivation, and when they start bending, they show this intense music. They try to like show a blurry camera effect, and they show a floating rock. A floating rock the size of like a pebble. It's like the size of your hand. It's something you can literally pick up and throw at someone. But what makes the scene really bad is that there's like 6 men all moving and doing like hand gestures, implying that 6 men are moving this rock together. A rock that anyone could pick up and throw. And when in the show, just one earthbender could make a giant boulder move. Now I get it. They wanted to save up on budget, but if you want to save up on budget, why? Why?
I have. I'm sorry for interrupting. I have other issues with the fucking bending, because for firebenders, they had to have fire nearby to shoot, and it is possible for them to do that, but they could literally just combust fire out of thin air. But they never did that in the movie.
There are cheaper ways to do that. Like the magicians, all the time they use flash paper to do fire effects where they make something burst in flames and disappear. There are many practical effects if they don't want to invest in the CGI budget of back then, right? To make a realistic looking fire while still being fairly safe. They could have done a lot of that, and it's just very disappointed what type of movie it ended up being, and compared to a masterpiece of a show like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where, mind you, this movie was only comprised of the first season, and it was an atrocity, to the point where the current new live action, which is still not that well received, though it has better bending, it has better, abilities. It shows that it's still missing some of the flair of what made the original special. That's the problem with a lot of live actions. They want to make something new without like understanding what made the original special. It's not just the visuals. It's not just
research. That's what's going on.
Yeah, and
this is irritating.
and I think kind of like what happened with like the Minecraft movie. Did you both see the Minecraft movie?
I did not.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so the Minecraft movie is, I think this also has to do with how, the newer generation sees things, and attention spans are a little bit less nowadays. No offense to any of our listeners who are young, on the younger side. The Minecraft movie is not a bad movie in any regard, but it is definitely not for a person like myself, right? Yes, I did grow up when Minecraft came out, and I've been playing it since it came out. But there was so much in there that I'm like, okay, this is cool. I would have done a different way, but sure. And it goes back to the different takes on whether you're making it for the pure pleasure of loving what the source material was, or making it just because you want money. And not to say that the Minecraft movie feels like that, but that's sadly how it feels. And I think that's what happened with Dragon Ball Evolution. That's what happened with The Last Airbender. It's happening with a lot of like these Disney live action movies. Even with
it's sad because there are great examples of live action movies, right? We're not talking about the better live action movies because it's easier to talk about the controversial stuff, but there are great examples of when the creators actually care about what the fans say and they're not just making something for the sake of money.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
The Sonic movie, not even yeah. The Sonic movie is live action, right? And when they first released the trailer, people on the internet freaked out because we had a very ugly representation of Sonic. The creators saw the backlash that had, and they quickly told their team, specifically their CGI team, to change how he looked. Like, somewhere out there, I hope it's erased, somewhere out there is a fully realized Sonic movie with the OG Sonic design, because the movie would have been the same except he looked like that.
And just in case it is confirmed because they did it in another movie, the model is still out there.
It was in one of the Disney movies, the Chippendale movie, which is a really good movie, mind you, as well.
Yes, that is a really good movie.
That one is more hitting on the fourth wall, and like the literal joke is that ugly Sonic is unemployed and stuff. It's like
I believe he was like living
your fan base.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
I believe that in the movie he was like living off the fame of the fact that he was ugly Sonic, and that's how he was been living instead of like starring in the movie.
Yeah. But there are great examples of live action movies that have expanded into franchises. Like the Sonic movie was originally meant to just be one movie, but it did so well they went, oh, we can do another one and another one, and they even have a Knuckles show, and it did well, not because they wanted money. I mean, don't get me wrong, a studio will always want money because they need to get paid. A lot of people are iffy on the topic of money when it comes to movies because a lot of people forget, hey, the point of a movie is to make money, but when the creators know what the fans want, what the audience wants, they can do a product that will actually have them come back.
I'm still waiting on Detective Pikachu Sonic, too, or just another Pokemon live
Sonic,
action.
It was a lot of that. A lot of them knowing what the people wanted, and then with other movies that are great, even though this is not live action, it's a good example of it. The Super Mario Bros. Movie did really good, despite some of their criticism, because they knew what the fans wanted. The Scott Pilgrim versus the World movie, it did good at the time. They did some money. They sold the comics. They released a game, and then years later, they released an animated show because they realized if they would have done a live action show all these years later, it wouldn't have been the same. Not everything needs to be live action, but there are examples of it where it actually works.
And I think that's another point on knowing when to make it live action, when not to. Because it just comes down to like what will make this the source material pop and in the moment. Not everything can be translated to live action. We've seen so many things. Alvin and the Chipmunks. Yeah, the first movie was great. Scooby-Doo, first movie was great. But what happened afterwards? The rest of the movies were either yeah, they were either subpar or just completely unwatchable for a lot of them.
Yeah.
And there
But hey,
is
at the end of the day, you know, live action movies they're mid. They're just there to kind of get us to watch new shit from the past or something that we love and we're probably still all gonna hate collectively.
That's true. Oh,
they are hit or miss.
yeah, I do have a question. I do have a
Go ahead.
question though. Out of us three, and then
What is your
you,
question?
and then everybody in the comments can answer with us as well. Your top 3 or top
that's
5
cool.
live action movies.
Fuck.
Okay.
Well,
So
you go first, Jackson.
top three, mind you, these are like in order of from the first one that I will mention is my number one live action, where it's probably the best to number three being okay. So number one for me, I have mentioned it, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It might be on other people's number ones. It's just, in my opinion, a really good representation of it. Number two would be, and I hope I don't get flamed for this, the Dungeons and Dragons movie. And I know that it's from a tabletop to live action, but to me that still counts as fully live action. I think that I went into the movie expecting it to be horrible, but it was a very pleasant experience and a pretty decent showing of what it's like to play a tabletop with friends. And as for my number three, I'm gonna be honest, it's a little bit hard because I don't see a lot of live actions, but this is a bit nostalgic talking here. Growing up, watching cartoons, and even though when this movie came out, I was fairly, I wasn't even born yet, right? But when I grew up with this movie there, and with the shows. Space Jam, the original one, 1996 Space Jam. I just love that movie,
Yeah,
and it's a very good example of live action done right, even in older times.
I'll go next,
What
and
about you, Axero? What
Yeah.
are your top 3?
I'm gonna go ahead and show my age now. My top one, it's Casper. Casper the Friendly Ghost from
That's a
1995.
good one.
It to this day, about I would say like it was a year or two ago. I was in a flight with my mom and my stepdad, and the flight had Casper playing, and both myself and my mom, we had to watch it. Sadly, I didn't have the headphones, but I know that movie by heart. And as I'm watching it, and I am just hearing the voices, even though I can't actually hear them, and I'm like saying word for word, laughing at the moments. I'm like, holy shit, how do I still remember this? Number two, probably a more recent one. Well, recent as in Scott Pilgrim, sadly. That's not as recent, but yes, Scott Pilgrim as well. Third movie, this is where it gets a little funky because there's been so many live actions recently. Maybe the Sonic movie. Maybe the third one, I would say. Not even like I could probably say any of the Marvel movies or anything like that, but definitely the Sonic movie. What about you,
Okay.
Hexus?
It's a bit hard, but my number one, and I'm pretty confident in it, and probably some people, might care, might not care, but it has to be Speed Racer.
Oh fuck,
Speed
you're
Racer.
right.
Speed Racer, for me personally, did excellent in the live action. I don't know why people were really against it, but it was such a good movie. I mean, yeah, it was weird, but it was such a good movie. Like, I still remember like the scenes, and a lot of people still like clip the final scene, and everyone knows that final race was probably the best race. The second movie, I would have to say that it would probably be Scott Pilgrim. Again, Scott Pilgrim is a really good movie. It has to be like a top 3 or top 10. And then as for number 3, it has to be the Sonic movie. Like all Sonic movies. Like originally when I went to watch it, I thought it was gonna be a bad movie, but it ended up beating my expectations, and I can't really hate it.
If I were to change my third one,
like-
I would say Alita Battle Angel. I don't know.
I haven't seen. I've heard it's good, but I've never seen it.
But yeah. Anything else that we didn't discuss, or anything else that you guys want to say?
I mean, there's probably a lot more things, but
and
there
are so many other like movies and shows. Even like we didn't even get to shows mainly.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opinions with like movies when it comes to making them live action, and we just want to say that no matter what your opinions are on it, it is like depends on what you like as a person, and everybody's like entitled to their opinion.
I mean, heck.
However,
if
you dare,
the Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
If you dare fucking defend Dragon Ball, I will fucking I will comment harshly at you.
Yeah. Also,
I will not defend you, bro.
Jaxiam,
I will come at you.
Jaxiam, we forgot a very important movie, The Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Oh fuck.
They're great.
They're
disgusting, but good.
They are.
There's like I said, there's a lot that we haven't even talked about. Like, if we go like, I'm just here scrolling and looking at like live action movies. Stuart Little.
Oh gosh. Even the
there's a lot of good movies.
The
that
TMNT
we haven't
movies,
mentioned.
the Scooby Doo movies. There's so many. Like we could go on hours and hours just talking on like what we like and what we don't. But
yeah. But hey,
we're trying to keep it concise.
maybe we'll do another episode. Who knows? But right now we have to head out and go to the next destination.
Oh man,
We'll
resume.
So
Yeah,
if you want to hear like a subject that you want us to talk about, just comment down below, and eventually, we'll try and talk about it. Or if you have any questions, hey, we'll answer the questions also. In the meantime,
hey Hexus, what's the next thing that we have to go slay now? I mean, I know we've been here for a while, and the last thing that we slayed was, I don't know, what was it, a dragon or something?
the fucking dragon that captured me? Yeah, that thing. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Assholes.
Hey, we're on our way to find I think it's called a terrace, but it's like radiated. I don't know. It shoots like beams and glows on its back. It's like terrorizing a city. Which
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's big, and it has like a scream. I don't know. Some people, I think they call it Godzilla.
Yeah, I heard it.
Dude, I know what the fuck Godzilla is.
Yeah,
Wait.
but this one's in space, and apparently it's not good.
Why the fuck are we fighting the space one?
Because we were sold, we got paid. We were told, hey, this is your quest. You need to take this thing out.
How much are they paying us?
I don't know. They just gave me this
$7.
crystal. They said it's from space.
Oh, that's it. I got $7. Where did I get these $7 from?
I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid shit. What the fuck is this bullshit?
Yeah,
no, we're returning. We're getting back. No, fuck this.
Hey, they say these crystal can find people who can use the force. Can't we use that?
I don't fucking care. We're leaving, and we're taking the crystal.
Okay.
Fuck. Just pack your shit. I'm not fighting Space Godzilla. What the fuck this guy thinks he
We can take it.
I know we can't, but I'm not gonna get paid by a kyber crystal. Fuck that.
It's a holocron.
I don't care.
Okay.
We're not fighting Space Godzilla for a fucking holocron.
Okay, everybody, it's been fun, but we must continue on our many escapades.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're here for the next one.
Or as we call them, our crusades.
All right, guys, take care.
Oh, yeah. And also, one last
yes,
thing.
the crusade.
Yeah, take care. And as always, like I say in the other, well, fun thing that we do in this channel, keep crusading on, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys.
May we find you in our next bonfire.
Bye, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
Goodbye.
Wait, can I change my thing?
God